Making headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen reminds landowners of the law regarding the preservation of heritage buildings, saying a balance must be kept between preservation and development. Cambodia prepares to remember King Father Norodom Sihanouk on Friday's Commemoration Day. And he finally gets to boldly go where few men have gone before. The man who played Captain Kirk becomes the oldest person in space. This is the Daily Roundup on the EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Andrew Barnes-Roberts. Prime Minister Hun Sen says the royal government is concerned about the preservation of heritage buildings as the country rapidly develops. He says there's a need for balance between conservation and development that requires government to intervene. He's reminded landowners of a list of recommendations already set out as the law on the protection of cultural heritage. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko explains.
Heritage buildings are visible landmarks with historical and cultural value. When a historical building stands its ground for the future, it turns into an architectural testimony of the city. But such buildings are threatened, especially if they are located in urban areas, under the risk of being demolished in the name of development. Phnom Penh is uncontestably changing at a rapid pace, creating concern that its heritage buildings need to be preserved. The royal government has therefore recommended landowners to review the law on the protection of cultural heritage, laid down back in 1996. The recommendations state that all buildings considered to be heritage should maintain their original appearance, not to be demolished or have their facades modified. If any heritage site needs to be repaired or altered, a request must first be sent to the Ministry of Culture and Fine Arts. Authorities have also declared plans for focusing on policies and roadmaps to promote conservation and sustainable development of heritage-filled areas.
Sites such as the much-loved post office shows how much historical buildings can blend with the development of the city and even promote architectural tourism for international tourists. Hotel and business can mix those buildings with modern interior designs, co-creating with technology and history. It shows how carefully the country safeguards its heritage and how strongly it's looking forward to the future without leaving anything of great value behind. Yuri Matosko, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
The Kingdom of Cambodia commemorates the 9th anniversary of the death of His late Majesty King Father Norodom Sihanouk on Friday. On the 15th of October every year, Cambodians pay respects to their national hero in front of his statue across from the Independence Monument. It's a national holiday and one of the country's most important. EAC News reporter Reo Soko explains why.
The pandemic might mean that the event has been downscaled since 2019, but it is no less important. The full name of this holiday is the Commemoration Day to the Royal Soul of His Majesty Preah Bat Samdech Preah Norodom Sihanouk, Preah Mahaviraksat, King Father of the Cambodian national independence, territorial integrity, and unity. Norodom Sihanouk was born in Phnom Penh on 31 October 1922. He became the King of Cambodia in 1941 after the death of his grandfather and became head of state in what was then a French protectorate. All that changed with independence in 1953, and then again in 1970, before the country descended into the dark years of the Khmer Rouge between 1975 and 1979. He was allowed to leave Cambodia and live in exile in North Korea and China, but eventually returned in 1993 to help guide his nation as king into the new modern-day Cambodia we know today. Happy years followed, but all too soon for his people. He died of a heart attack in Beijing on 15 October 2012. The whole nation was in grief. They'd lost a beloved hero. EAC News spoke to one of the kingdom's most highly respected researchers, Huy Vanak. He is also the founder and president of the Union of Journalist Federations of Cambodia. He explains why Cambodians loved King Father Norodom Sihanouk so much.
The commemoration day of the king it's not just for the king, but to tell people that you need to hold this kind of national spirit, solidarity, unity, and keep holding this to respect not only King Norodom Sihanouk, our founding father, even our future leader that have made a lot of sacrifice for the country. For our King father Norodom Sihanouk, he have a lot of speciality in terms of as a leader. He charismatic leader. He's smart. He's talented. He's a musician. He's a composer. And more important thing, he is a king, but he's a good politician. He's a good leader. He knows a lot of world leader like Charles de Gaulle, like John Kennedy, Zhou Enlai, Mao Zedong, all the leader that he's make friend with. And it is good for Cambodian that he built Cambodia as a nation.
One of the most important accomplishments King Norodom Sihanouk gave Cambodians was independence from the French. According to Vanak, the King Father was both icon and idol. Being a journalist during the king's time, Vanak himself idolized the goodness of the king.
I value his legacies a lot. He make no racism. Whatever he tried to do in the past is to serve the interests of Cambodia. But you know, because of the Cold War, because of geopolitical issue, that the small country like Cambodia is hard to get away from the superpower, turn Cambodia to war and bloodshed. That's it's not his mistake. But we need to learn from a good side that that we can learn from him.
Vanak says for him, King Norodom Sihanouk built the nation, transforming it from a poor country to a modern, independent state. Without independence, he says it would have been like living in another home or not having a home at all.
King Father Norodom Sihanouk is Cambodia's symbol of independence, self-determination, unity, and national continuity. He was very much the father of the nation and is still very loved by his people. No doubt, this is the reason why he has left the mark on every Cambodian's heart. Rhea Soko, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
2 million of the 3 million doses of Sinovac promised by Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in September landed at Phnom Penh International Airport on Thursday morning. They were welcomed by Health Ministry Secretary of State Yuk Sambat. They come at a critical point in Cambodia's vaccination rollout as herd immunity approaches, along with a full reopening of the economy. EAC News reporter Yuri Matosko has the story.
The flight from China landed mid-morning on Thursday with some very welcome cargo. 2 million doses of Sinovac gifted by China, with a further million expected to be delivered later this month. Secretary of State in the Ministry of Health, Yuk Sambat, says the doses will be used to complete the vaccination campaign for children, while also allowing the government to ramp up its booster shot campaign, which is already underway in 11 of Phnom Penh's 14 districts. The sheer success of Cambodia's vaccination campaign is clear for all to see. Shared by the Ministry of Health, the FT Vaccine Tracker shows Cambodia as one of the leading countries of the world for vaccination campaign, even ahead of developed countries such as UK, France, and Japan. When it comes to fully vaccinated citizens and residents, the kingdom currently ranks 16 in the world. But while the vaccinations have been reaching everyone in the country, not everyone is coming to get their vaccination cards. According to Vaccination Campaign Chiefs of Operations General It Sarath, 10,000 vaccination cards are lying in wait for their owners to various vaccination centers across Phnom Penh. He's urging everyone to please come forward and collect them, with vaccination cards now mandatory for entry to business locations, banks, shops, markets, and restaurants in the capital. Itzara says the Defense Ministry is putting various encouragement strategies in place to ensure those vaccination cards are collected. These included posting names and phone numbers on the Defense Ministry's Facebook page and sending text messages to those concerned. Yuri Matosco, EAC News.
As the country prepares to fully reopen the tourism economy, the Siem Reap Provincial Administration has decided to waive this year's license renewal fees for tour guides. They've been decimated by the pandemic, with the city's foreign arrivals having dried up. Siem Reap Provincial Deputy Governor Pin Prakot says apart from waiving license renewal fees, fines for expired licenses have also been cancelled. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the details.
The provincial administration says that the pandemic has caused around 1,000 tour guides to lose their livelihoods. Siem Reap Provincial Deputy Governor Pin Prakot says they are looking for ways to revitalize tourism as the province has already received an infrastructure development for some 38 roads from the government. They are also speeding up construction to contribute to tourism and provide opportunities and benefits for businesses involved in tourism and other sectors. Siem Reap Provincial Administration says the province's economy has faced difficulties for nearly 2 years now. Siem Reap is famous for its Angkor temples, specifically for Angkor Wat. But with COVID-19, there are barely any tourists visiting. Prime Minister Hun Sen has previously said that Cambodia will soon reopen despite the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Tourism has been working hard together with other partners in creating a roadmap for the safe reopening. On Wednesday, Minister of Tourism Thong Kon met with other leaders and partners to discuss the planned reopening. The two major agendas that were discussed were the strategic plan for the reopening of tourism for vaccinated international tourists and domestic tourism in the country. Reyes Soko, EAC News.
A week after Pachum Ben, and finally some good news when it comes to Cambodia's COVID-19 figures. They'd been climbing for the past week, but suddenly appear to be stabilizing. 203 cases were reported last Friday. They peaked at 272 on Wednesday. On Thursday, a slight drop to 268 was confirmed by the Health Ministry. 25 more deaths have been reported, though. On the plus side, 359 patients have been discharged in the past 24 hours, taking the number of active cases down to 3,629. The latest stats take the kingdom's total COVID-19 case count to 115,875. The death toll has reached 2,584. The number of patients treated successfully has climbed to 109,655. A 31-year-old man has died hours after his minivan was hit by a train in Pria Sihanouk. He was rushed to hospital and was receiving emergency treatment when he died. The victim was a driver for transporting workers, but luckily had no passengers at the time of the incident.
The accident happened on Wednesday morning at the railway crossing on National Road 4 in Prey Nup District. The minivan was traveling from Pria Sihanouk to Phnom Penh, as was the train. There are no barriers at the crossing in question. It is assumed the driver simply failed to see the oncoming train. Authorities are investigating.
Now for a look at news making international headlines this Thursday, the 14th of October.
A man armed with a bow and arrows has gone on the rampage in Norwegian town of Kongsberg, 68 kilometers from the capital Oslo. He's killed 5 people and wounded 2 others in the deadliest attack in Norway in a decade. The attack began shortly after 6 p.m. on Wednesday local time when the assailant began making his way through the center of the town. The authorities, after urging residents to seek shelter inside, apprehended the suspect about half-hour later. He's a 37-year-old Danish man living in Kongsberg. A motive for the attack is still unknown. The killers have left a country where murder is rare and the police, usually unarmed, on edge. Following the attacks, Norwegian police have now been given authorization to carry weapons.
The
36-year-old Serb has been shot in the back and 6 police officers have been injured after police used tear gas to disperse a crowd that became hostile after raids on suspected smugglers in northern Kosovo. Police responded when protesters used hand grenades and stun guns against officers. Kosovo police says officers met resistance in the town of Mitrovica, which is ethnically divided between Serbs and Albanians. Kosovo declared independence from Serbia in 2008, but around 50,000 Serbs who remain in the northern part of the country refuse to recognize authorities in the capital, Pristina.
And Typhoon Kompasu has left at least one person dead in a road accident and at least 20 others injured as it rolled over Hong Kong on Wednesday. It suspended schools and the city's $6.3 trillion stock market, as well as triggered the longest number 8 warning signal in more than 40 years. The order stopped ferries and many bus routes from operating. The Hong Kong Observatory raised the storm warning alert to number 8, the third highest on its scale, on Tuesday afternoon when Kompasu was about 440 kilometers southwest of the city. The typhoon made landfall on China's Hainan Island on Wednesday afternoon. It battered the Philippines 2 days earlier, leaving at least 13 people dead. Nearly 2,000 people were evacuated. Scientists have long warned that typhoons are becoming ever more powerful and strengthening more rapidly as the world becomes warmer due to climate change.
Stay with the Daily Roundup. Coming up after the break, a look at the day's sports news. EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. EAC News' audience is growing. Our YouTube channel has over 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube. It's given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates EAC News' hard work and incredible achievement. She says we brought a unique voice and style to the world, but have also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to YouTube and search for EAC News. Subscribers get alerts when the Daily Roundup is premiering and live events are streaming. Get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. The EAC News channel on YouTube. Cambodia made clear. If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me, Andrew Barnes-Roberts, and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear. Thursday is a busy night for World Cup qualifiers in South America. Argentina hosts Peru in Buenos Aires, while Brazil face Uruguay in Manaus. All four teams have it all to play for. Argentina's players know their coach has already said the clash against Peru will be a difficult one, so training on Wednesday took on something of an edge. The match will be played at the capital's Monumental Stadium, so a home game for Argentina, but still a tricky fixture, especially with Lionel Messi not exactly on form.
It's difficult that he has not performed well in the team. There will be moments in the team, and I think that is the most important thing. In the end, the team moves forward, improves, and I think Messi is fine where he is, and he feels comfortable with his teammates, and that's what makes things better. It's clear that without the team, his performance is not so evident. Today, we are doing well as a group, as a team, and that is the most important thing.
Argentina are second in the 10-team South American qualifying group and will be keen to keep it that way, with the top four teams automatically qualifying for Qatar 2022. Brazil are at the top of the group but still have a tough assignment against Uruguay. The match is set to be played at the Arena Amazonia in Manaus. Last week, Brazil fought back from a goal down to score 3 times in the second half, recording a 3-1 win over Venezuela to maintain their 100% qualifying record. As the coach said himself, Neymar will be key.
I've talked to Neymar about his position and his function, about important situations, the joy he brings to the team. He is a player that has an important creative space within the team, trying to enjoy everything in the best possible conditions. There's other aspects that are more important, and we try to respect everyone's emotional situation.
Brazil are 5 times world champions and are a full 6 points ahead of Argentina at the top of the group. Uruguay occupy the 4th spot, just 1 point ahead of Colombia, so the pressure is on the visitors on Thursday night. Long-distance runner Agnes Tirop has been found stabbed to death in her home in Kenya. She was the country's 2-time World Championship bronze medalist. Her husband is the prime suspect in her death.
Athletics Kenya says Agnes Tirop was found dead at her home in the town of Eton, with stabs wounds to her chest and abdomen. It is claimed she was stabbed by her husband, who has since disappeared. A manhunt for him has been launched. In the meantime, police say they're working to unearth more details surrounding her death. The 25-year-old represented Kenya in the 5,000-meter event at Tokyo Olympics. She finished 4th in the finals. Just last month, she smashed the women-only 10 kilometers world record in Germany. Tirop won bronze medals at the 2017 and 2019 World Championship in the 10,000-meter event. She also won the 2015 World Cross Country Championships.
The Asian Open Figure Skating Trophy, a test event for the Beijing 2022 Winter Olympic Games, is underway in the Chinese capital. The competition is staged in the renovated Capital Gymnasium, which will be a key battlefield for the Winter Olympics. This is the all-field and all-factor test of the Capital Gymnasium before the Winter Olympics, with China continuing to fight COVID-19 along with the rest of the world. The 4-day event has attracted 32 athletes from 9 countries and regions. China's top figure skating athletes, Xu Wenjing and Han Kong, are in action too. The championship is the second international competition of the 2022 Winter Olympic Test Series. It follows the recent China Open speed skating event at the National Speed Skating Oval, known as the Ice Ribbon. The 2022 Winter Olympics begin in Beijing on Friday, the 4th of February. All right, let's have a look at how the weather's shaping up for Commemoration Day. And finally, at last, he's actually boldly gone where few men have gone before. Actor William Shatner, who played Captain Kirk in the Star Trek TV series, has become the oldest person in space after last night's flight aboard a Blue Origin rocket ship. On the launch pad, Blue Origin's New Shepard rocket. Not exactly the USS Enterprise, but William Shatner's real-life ticket into space nonetheless. A textbook liftoff, and a 10-minute journey the actor admitted beforehand he was absolutely terrified about. He was one of 4 passengers on Blue Origin's second space tourist flight and enjoyed about 3 minutes of zero gravity, before it was time to get back down to Earth. The crew capsule touched down on the Texas desert under parachutes, raising a cloud of dust. Shatner emerged gingerly from the capsule, thanking Jeff Bezos for the experience.
It was unbelievable. I mean, you know, the little things of weightlessness. But to see the blue color go whip by, and now you're staring into blackness. That's the thing. The covering of blue, this sheet, this blanket, this comforter of blue that we have around us. We think, oh, that's blue sky. And then suddenly you shoot through it all of a sudden, as though you whip off a sheet off you when you're asleep, and you're looking into blackness, into black ugliness. And you look down, and there's the blue down there, and the black up there, and it's just, there is Mother and Earth and comfort, and is there death? I don't know. Is that death? Is that the way death is? Whoop, and it's gone. Jesus. It was so moving to me. This experience has been something unbelievable.
Even more unbelievable, Blue Origin isn't yet saying how much the ticket prices are. But the youngest person in space's dad paid an eye-watering $28 million for his son's 10-minute ride on Blue Origin's first flight back in July. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News Channel. You'll get more breaking news and updates from our website. Head to www.eacnews.asia. You can also search for EAC News on Telegram and at your favorite app store. Commemoration Day on Friday, so the Daily Roundup taking a break until Monday. We'll be back with you at 8 p.m. tomorrow night for the weekly roundup. I'll see you then.